Yeah, so tonight we're watching two 2021 prospects. We got Sage Surratt from Wake Forest. It looks like the ACC's gonna play. That's what they're saying right now. Mm-hmm. And then we got Amon-Ra St. Brown from USC. And the Pac-12 has said that they're not going to play. We'll see how that plays out. I'm still giving it a week, with these other conferences, sticking to saying that they're playing. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the Big Ten's like, all right, we changed our mind. We got some other advice and, blah, blah, blah.
Ryan Day's still trying to make it happen at Ohio State. I know that.
Yeah, or it goes the other way and the other conferences pull
Bringing
out.
it strong versus Harbaugh.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Surratt is a guy that was pacing all Power 5 receivers last year while he was healthy. He was able to play through 9 games until he went out for the season with a shoulder injury. Through those 9 games, he had 1,001 receiving yards, totaling 11 touchdowns on 66 catches. So he was leading all Power 5 receivers in receiving at that point in time. So he's definitely a baller. We'll see what the tape looks like, though. Was it just a competition? Let's take a look. You guys want to get into it?
Let's do it.
Always, man.
I think I put Garrett up first this week. So
it's probably because I actually got my stuff in first for once.
Yeah, and I think I have him in order for you.
Nice. All right. We'll let it play through once here.
I have a quick question before we start in this. What is his size?
He is Sage Surratt. Hold up.
6'3", right? 6'3", 215.
Yep.
He seemed a little smaller on tape. Did you guys get that feel? Like I thought he was going to be bigger.
I highlighted the wrong guy on this play.
I was going to say.
Yeah, he's in the slot. Let me circle it on the screen here. My bad.
You're good.
Starting off with a banger.
That's right.
Yeah, he didn't look small to me. I felt the size was good, so prototypical size.
So what'd you see here, Garrett?
Either that or he had like smaller legs to me. Maybe a bigger torso. Maybe I'm wrong. Like that Kevin White.
All right. So yeah, run this back from the start here. So one of the things that I am a little bit concerned about with Sage Surratt is he's not the most explosive athlete. We're looking at some of these wide receivers, and we'll see it when we look at St. Brown. St. Brown is an explosive player. Now, given the body size, the type and whatnot, we're not expecting him to run a 4.4 flat or anything like that. He does have some skill sets in other areas, but one of my concerns is he's not an explosive athlete. So run this play through. And as I'm watching this specific play here, one of the things that I was a little concerned with here was that he just wasn't able to get off of the defensive back. And we're talking about a slot corner. So this is somebody that, a player of his caliber should be able to manhandle a little bit better. Wasn't able to get off, kind of lost track of the football on a play that I think he actually had a shot to make if he was able to release, which he never was able to. And the other thing is there was a point where he actually had a little bit of a step, but he never actually stacked. And I think he might have been able to make the play had he done that here.
Mm-hmm. I had something similar in one of my plays, Garrett, too. I don't know if it's laziness or he just can't get there, but the stack was close. It's like get there, right, and then you have full control of the play.
Right.
All right, moving on. Got him at the top of the screen here. Got him circled correctly this time. Safeties are down. We got press corners.
Inside shade.
I seen him run this play a few times on the cut-ups you guys sent me.
Yep. So this was actually a pretty decent move here. He got the DB to bite. So for him not being very fluid overall, he does seem to run decent routes at times for a bigger player. But once again, you got to come down with this football. Like, this was a well-thrown ball that really was right in his breadbasket, and he allowed the DB to rip it away. If you're a 6'3", 215 wide receiver, DB should not be ripping the ball away from you. Mm-hmm. And there's enough of those types of things that just make me a little bit concerned. Now, there's some positives. I know I started off with 2 negatives in a row. There are definitely some things that I do see that I like, that I think you can work with. But these are the types of things that keep me from saying that he could be, a legitimate day 2 pick. I'm worried about that for him.
Mm-hmm.
If he stacks,
he does step on his toes.
If he stacks here, that DB's not making that play.
Nope. Step on his toes. That's going to slow the DB down, get more separation.
Yeah.
One thing from watching tape, 2 games of them, man, that read option they have is it's crazy how
hey,
deep
isn't it crazy?
They read that?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Did you get to watch Kenneth Walker at all? The running, well, obviously you did. I like him a lot.
He's pretty explosive.
For a true freshman, he's good.
Yeah, I was like, man, Jamie Newman, they just he's basically
so
through
slow.
the line of scrimmage before they pull it out.
I know, it's crazy.
I'd be frustrated as a running back running that because I'm waiting and waiting and waiting.
No rhythm.
Oh, that'd be tough.
It
Kills
seems
the play.
to work. Seems to work for him though.
Not well enough. Now this was a play that I really liked. Now, not a great route. I'm not going to compliment the route, but here's what I did like about this: two defensive backs, and then breaking a tackle, and he actually showed enough wheels there to be able to get to the corner. Like I said, not a bursty player, not a great athlete, but this shows me that there's at least enough there that he can use his size, he can use his strength, he can catch the ball between 2 defenders. I would have liked to see more of a hands catch than a body catch there, but overall, that was something that I saw. I was like, you know what? That was a pretty good play, Sage.
Yeah. We should talk about how bad the read is. Sorry, Vic. How bad of a read is this? Look at the bubble wide open.
I know. I mean, the DN's kind of like, was it a blitzing safety or linebacker out there? So right. I think he
just throw the bubble.
I only had one game of Jamie Newman because the other one there was a backup. I wasn't a big fan.
I like him from what I've seen.
But, I mean, not as big of a fan.
I think he fits
right.
Georgia's scheme pretty well with Todd Monken there.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Vic? Sorry, I talked over you.
Yeah, so at least one of the question marks I had with him was physicality. So right here, I like to see him throw a stiff arm, instead of just letting the guy kind of lay into him. So given his size, definitely want to leverage his body size and be a little bit more physical there. Mm-hmm. Going into the end zone. So just to really secure it.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I want to note, if you go back a little bit further here, J-Wack, I like how, this is just messy. He's running through traffic, but he found a way, because some guys, they'll just kind of I'll allow myself to get tackled. And he didn't. Right here, he avoids, who's this number 3 here, and then switches arms because it's left arm right here. And then has the,
You do love that.
Hey, it's a big thing for me. It allows for the stiff arm. Switches right there. Kept his momentum. That part right there is my favorite part of the play. He gets through the mess.
Yeah. Yep. Phil said, lay off the reserve. No reserve for me tonight. It's been a while.
I'm empty now, Phil. I was there.
Go fill up.
Honey Jack, not reserve. But either way.
All right, here we go. We're switching over to Virginia Tech now. Or sorry, we just watched Virginia Tech. Florida State. Switching over to Florida State. Let this first one run.
Be nice to my boy, Garrett.
Sorry, Willie.
How about this ball, though?
Yeah, this is the backup, too.
That's a better ball.
Yeah, it's, what's his name from QB1?
Was that him?
Sam Hartman, yeah.
Okay. He actually didn't look half bad in this game.
No, he's pretty good.
Yeah. So, once again, doesn't stack, but he shows enough separation. So, even though he's not quick, I don't think he has a lot of quick twitch to him. I think his long strides are going to be enough to get him in the upper 4.5 range. I don't think we're going to see 4.4s or even low 4.5s, but mid to upper 4.5s I think are realistic. And these over-the-shoulder catches are tough. And I think that's a real good catch, got enough separation. I would have loved to see him stay in bounds, though. That's something that changes from a 30-yard gain to 6 points. So I would have loved to see him stay in bounds, but good soft hands there. Mm-hmm. Vic, Nick, any thoughts?
Yeah, at least right there. I mean, that was also another thing with me. There was a lot of running out of bounds instead of looking to create. So, you know, at least with these early mocks, of course it's early, but they got them late first round as of right now. But if a guy's going that high, you got to look to create at all times. So,
See, right now he looks more like a third round guy to me.
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Good.
day two.
Todd
so
McShay
raw.
mocked him in the first round today in his way too early mock draft.
Yep.
Well,
Wait.
our boy Matt Miller, he mocked him. He mocked Donovan's Peoples Jones in the first last year too. So I
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah,
you never
I'd say
know.
he's third, fourth. Is where I'd have him.
Clickbait.
Sure, I have no problem with that.
Nick, do you have anything to add on that last one?
No, the only thing we didn't talk about is I thought is he tracked the ball well, you know, because that was such a good ball. But I mean, he had to track that early and then go over his outside shoulder. So
Yeah. They love running these hitch and goes. Or stop and goes.
Yep.
that was
Once
perfect.
again, a little bit of both here. That was a nice little hitch to get open, but you can see there's just not quite the explosiveness the way other people would have housed that. But a nice little subtle movement to his route to be able to get open. So I actually think he's a decent route runner for a big guy, but I don't know. I didn't see a lot of the incredible contested catches. Now, I don't know what you guys saw in your games, but that's one thing from a guy this kind of size that where I want to see him be able to do some of that kind of stuff where he's going up over defensive backs. I didn't see a ton of that.
Nah.
I just want to say what a play call. I mean, that's a corner blitz. They're rotating down, and then he pitches. That's just like terrible for the safety. How does he read?
That's so tough.
You know,
Yeah.
how does he adjust
Yeah,
to
he
that?
whiffed.
That's
Great play call.
yeah. I mean, because his angle coming down, like he couldn't get over the top of it, or at least when it's a double move, I teach my DBs, you have to hit him. You know what I mean? And then you can, get your momentum back. But he's in no man's land. So
Yeah. Can you run it back a little bit?
Yeah. Other angle, this angle?
Yeah, right there. So, I mean, I noticed that's been a theme. Like, that's his go-to move to create separation, that little stutter. So I'm sure everybody that's watching, you'll see that to be a consistent theme with him, just throwing the hips and breaking out. And that's his best, like, trick to get open. So,
and to quote you, Vic, I mean, right here, you're 6'3", 215, right? We guessed. You have to deliver with that stiff arm. This is one even just like slight stiff arm touchdown. You know what I mean? Missed, got 1 foot.
And that's a diving corner. Like he didn't even have his legs with him.
I mean, that's no touchdown because of that.
yeah, you got to punch down, really. So the stiff arm was just bad placement.
Yeah. Or even like, kind of jump, get your feet up. I've seen, guys do that.
Yeah.
Nick, you got a question in the chat from Phil. He said, Nick, switching the ball to the outside is also about potential loose balls going out of bounds instead of to the field. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's part of it. And plus, I mean, if you think of the odds of getting hit, the odds are there's going to be 11 guys, or at least 10 guys probably to the inside. So you want to reduce your chances of getting hit with that inside. But then also, as Vic had said, it gives you the stiff arm. If you fumble, it goes out of bounds. Like everything benefits you having it in the outside arm. The only negative is that switching could cause some people to fumble. You hope not, but that's the only negative.
Yeah.
And you have to time it out. I mean, you do it in traffic, you could get it knocked away, but I mean, that's a gamble.
All right, we got Sage here at the bottom. Again. Dude, I'm telling you, I saw, like, you guys sent me these cut-ups, and I swear I saw that, like, same route 5 times.
Yep.
Whose is this one? Because I don't think this is me anymore.
It might be Nick. I think it's Nick.
Oh, this is me. Well, I mean, it's like, whatever.
Same play. Yep.
The one thing that I didn't really like about this is he didn't convince anybody that hitch was going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like a little bit, and that safety's like, okay. And then here he gets, again, being 6'3", 215, he got pushed to the sideline. I mean, he readjusted inside, but I mean, man, you're big and physical. You know what I mean? I mean, get away from this DB. Either you're going to go inside, or if it's MOR, you know what I mean? And lean into the corner, as Jared and me have talked about before. Give your quarterback more room on the outside. Right here, he gets pushed from about a yard outside the numbers to about a yard to the sideline.
Yeah.
You need to keep that more inside.
Now, Vic, let me ask you your opinion on this one here. Was it worthwhile to fake the hitch where he did, or would it have made more sense to press the safety a little bit more there with the hitch, and then he would have had more time to get past him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would like to see him sell the hitch, but his problem there is if you got it right there, he's standing too tall. So he plays tall. If he sinks his hips, that'll sell a little bit more, at least from a DB's perspective, and then you can get back upfield. So to me, he just didn't sink his hips, and he's playing tall. So that made that break, tough to get out of.
I mean, one other thing too, and I don't know where you stand on this, Vic, is I would have liked him to attack maybe inside shoulder, be like the inside part of those numbers, have the corner come inside, then it gives you all this outside room.
Yeah. Yep, you got to sell it. So,
Good job of Justin coming back, making a catch at least.
Yep, yeah, that's that tracking, body control. Again, didn't really. I mean, kind of catches it here. You know, what I mean,
if
it was a bit of a body catch. Yep.
If he attacks the ball, he might be able to do something after the catch here. But tough to. I mean, he had to stop on the dime.
And sometimes I wonder if that's like a mentality with him. If he's just like he's kind of a catch and fall guy mentally.
Yeah, or
versus...
just athleticism. Maybe he just doesn't have the ability to stop, come back, make a move.
But he'll flash too, so that's where the inconsistency comes in. So
yeah.
This was. I'm just going to say, if you're going to be this first round or a good prospect guy, you got to get in. This is against Elon, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Come on.
That's
Come on,
right.
man. Right here. It's a little guy.
Dude, I almost went to play at Elon.
Oh,
Did you really?
Yeah. My best friend went there for a semester. We were going to go together.
I mean, I know he kind of avoids the one, but I mean, this is an FCS school. You're this great receiver, find a way to get by this. I mean, if you're a top prospect, if that's Rondale Moore, that's a touchdown. If that's any other top prospect, that's a touchdown. To me, this just says he's not a great guy. I mean, I know I'm asking for him to, break a tackle, but you need to break a tackle.
We got a question in the chat. What's up, guys? There's Amir asks, what's the best trait, attribute a wide receiver can have to be NFL ready coming out of college?
Ooh, that's loaded. For me, it's all about mentality. I mean, you got Sage here. He kind of, he's playing like a possession receiver, but giving you 6'3", 215, you would like him to just know, like, hey, you're this big body, leverage that play to that size. So to me, it's all about mentality. And you can just look at guys' demeanors when they're lining up. You can just kind of tell, if they're excited for the play or if they're just going through the motion. So it's all about mentality for me, especially being a playmaker.
You could always see that with CD Lamb, watching him this past year. He just had that mentality every play.
That Texas game. Oh, that Texas game.
Sexy.
Such a sexy.
Nick,
for me,
Garrett, what would you guys say?
For me, it's not as much about a singular trait as it is like, how do they win? Like, where do they have the one up on everybody else? So whether that's, the ability to be able to create separation, whether that's, I can go up and get the ball better than anybody else. Like, I want to see a trait that I'm like, oh, that is above average compared to what we see from a lot of other players. And I think that's kind of where I fall in with Sage. Was there wasn't any specific thing where I'm like, this is how he will win at the next level. And I think that's why I have some concerns as of now. And that's the tragedy of potentially not having the season. He has an opportunity to improve on this. Like, he could have gotten a lot better in the offseason, and we won't know. And that's going to be the difficult part.
Mm-hmm. Yep, no, I'm with you. So my I guess best trait would be, I mean, if you look at like number 7 down here in the screen, right? So this corner is inside shade by a full man. He's not even splitting the difference. So he's got to have a plan. How am I going to attack this corner with this shade to win? And that's press coverage, that's zone, that's everything. I really look for receivers that have, we talk about this, this toolbox, multiple ways to win, but having the knowledge and a plan of, hey, this is how I'm going to win versus this DB, versus this safety, versus I'm just going to run my route. That's a big difference between being advanced and I think being a novice.
Yeah, that's true. Because some guys are just running the routes without even thinking about, okay, let me lean this guy inside so I can break to the outside with the corner. So, yeah.
I mean, we'll see with Amon St. Brown. He settles down in zones. He understands things a lot more than Sage does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he needs 100% get in here. 6'3", 215 against Elon.
Yep.
slot here. So Sage needs 10 more career touchdowns to be to tie Ricky Prohl's school record.
Ricky Prohl. St. Louis Ram, man.
St. Louis.
Yep, there you go.
Vic, you might not know this, but Nick has this thing where he comps every player almost to some sort of Ram. So, anytime he hears a Ram, he's excited.
Is this a Kevin Curtis comp?
So, yeah, Kevin Curtis. So what I loved about this route was, I mean, so he avoids right here, but look how flat he gets to get separation. If he would have went to the back pylon, that corner would have a better chance. Man, when he came flat, that's just so much separation, give the quarterback more room. I just really loved the route here. And again, awareness, got his feet down, caught the ball, body control. But man, that route I thought was really nice.
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, he's good in the red zone.
Good awareness with his feet, too. Did he actually get 2 in?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, nice play. Good hands.
So he catches this. I thought the route took way too many steps to decelerate and get out of that kind of a deeper hitch, really. And then he jumps. What are you jumping for? That takes away opportunity after the reception. Yep. See, look at all this like extra. I mean, I don't think he has to jump here.
Yeah. And he's sitting down in the route, too, as he's throttling down. If you go back, it looked like he's taking a seat in a chair. So he's killing all of his own momentum.
Yep. And then that prevents any yak out of it. And to me, that's just
taking a seat.
Yep. It's a lot of negative right there.
As a DB, you're going to break on that.
Yeah. And look at him break. That DB made a heck of a play. Because it's easy to drive on that when you know that he can't go forward again.
Elon.
I will say,
exactly,
with getting hit like that, that was a good way to hold on the football, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw any drops in my games. Did you guys see any drops?
Yeah, I had some drops.
There's a few in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he has great hands. I see him body catching a lot, and there are some
that I
drops
know
that
for
we'll
sure.
get to. Yeah. Top of the screen here. I think this is one right here. I think you had one drop in yours, Garrett. Maybe not.
So
it was one he could have got to, but
yeah,
the DB ripped it away.
There's that hitch and go. But to me, this is he jumps and then just bodies. Go attack that football.
Shoot.
You were talking about Garrett. How do you win? This is how he could win. But and we were talking. I'm arguing. We'll just say JJ Arcega-Whiteside last week.
Yeah.
But he attacks the football in the air.
He does.
That's how he wins.
Don't start again.
Sage could do it here, and he doesn't.
He's agreeing with me here, so we're okay.
Yeah, well, I'm agreeing with him. Sage could do it here, and he doesn't. And that's why he doesn't catch the football, and that's why he's not, in my opinion, a great prospect.
Yeah.
A little underthrown. Mm-hmm. But still, you need to make this catch if you're a first-round receiver.
Vic, tell me this. For wide receivers, we're talking about him being more of a body catcher, and we've seen a lot of other talented players that were more body catchers than they were hands catchers. How difficult is it to, if you're naturally more of a body catcher, to kind of converting to being, a guy that can really pluck the ball?
Yeah, it's one of those, either you got it or you don't. I mean, you can train, but it really goes back to your mentality. So, I would expect him with that size to go up and get it with his hands out instead of going up with upside down raptor arms. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he does look like he's trying to attack the ball like this.
Upside down raptor arms. I've never heard that. That's great.
you got to go get it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
And I mean, because a lot of that's reaction, right? And confidence, and you can practice doing spin moves, but if you're in there and it's in the game and you don't do it, well, it's just practice. You got to do it.
So it's hard to break those bad habits. I mean, if he's gotten through high school and college doing that, I mean, if it worked this far, so it's kind of hard to break that habit.
I'd like to quote you on that, Vic, with a lot of the running backs I don't like, but hey, this is a wide receiver podcast. You guys know who I'm talking about.
You always call this a podcast. This isn't a podcast.
What do you call it? A video cast?
A stream.
Stream.
A river.
A show.
Does it lead into a lake?
I mean, we don't put this on. This isn't a podcast, so it's not an audio like form.
No, this would be a
thing.
terrible podcast. You never get to see the play.
That's true. That's true.
No, I mean, every
I
time
didn't
you
think about that.
like every
Hey,
time Nick texts about the show, he's like, the podcast. It's not a podcast.
Dude, Sam's yelling at me on the chat. Sam, it's a live stream. Okay, I got it now. We'll see if I can take the teachable moment here and not say it again.
I don't.
Probably your biggest mistake.
I just love giving you a hard time. So selfish.
By the way, Nick, I was so upset that you took Jacob Copeland. I was about to take him there, and I was like, I don't think that many people are on him. I might be able to wait a little longer.
I think he was my 5th or 6th ranked wide receiver going into last year, and I was like,
he's good.
No one's talking. Yeah,
He's good. He's
I put out a
fast.
tweet about him a little while back. And, yeah,
Great block here to open this up.
so
Wide receivers blocking creates big plays.
Yeah, this is a 2-for-1. We would call it. Because it's man coverage. He goes and gets that safety. That corner's already going to come in on him. So he created this entire lane for Jamie Newman. Love it. And that's effort. That's toughness. That's exactly what you want to see to get on the field. If he's not doing other things right, if you do this right, you're going to get on the field.
Yep. Good play. That's what you'd expect for him, 6'3", 215, throwing around safeties, DBs. This is a nice freaking play.
I mean, I don't like the release. I don't like the route, but he found a way to win. I'll give him that with one arm.
One-handed catch, yeah.
Yeah, they called.
They never
pass
even threw the
interference.
flag, did they?
No, they did. They threw the flag.
Oh, okay.
It came in at the end there.
And I mean, just because if we go slow right here, what I don't like is, I always talk about this two-way go. Him stepping inside here, look at how much the corner believes this. Not at all.
Well, he had already been shifting his weight. Like, his whole body was going the other direction when he stepped out.
I mean, at least fake a slant. Go hard inside, get something. Nothing. That's not going to work in the NFL.
Yeah, especially being tall. I mean, a DB is just going to follow your shoulders because, it's an easy read right there.
Mm-hmm.
Touchdown.
But one arm.
It's an impressive catch.
For sure. Good play. So, I think, are we on to fix here?
Yeah, it looks like it, Louisville.
Yeah.
All right.
And he even says it right. All right, Vic.
Hey,
I like it.
I'm actually up the street, so yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, so this one here, I definitely would like to see some more physicality there, at least getting off the route. So he's playing too tall. That's like one of my concerns throughout the whole session. So if you look, DB gets one arm on him, then gets a second arm on him, so he switches. That's because he's playing too tall. So I would like to see him drop his hips at the top of the route, because if he drop his hips right there, that DB may think he's going on a go route, and then he can burst to break back to the ball on the hitch. So, but since he's playing too tall, DB's able to ride him.
Yeah, it makes it a much easier read.
Yeah, but ultimately, I mean, he should have caught the ball. I mean, it did hit his hands, so that's the rule. If it hits your hands, you got to catch it. But
Definitely. Nick, you got anything to add here? Obviously, he needs to get his hands off, like Vic said.
Yeah. I mean, again, doesn't fake inside. You know what I mean? You always have to make it a two-way go on your release. Always.
Well, and you can tell his lack of burst there too, because the DB wasn't concerned about the go at all, like not at all. And granted, it's press coverage, but you could tell he was never threatened. He never opened up. He never wasn't concerned.
yeah. All right, this one here, this was a lazy route. So if you look, he's just kind of out there in space, and then the ball is in the area of two players, but he doesn't even attack it. So if it's in the neighborhood, go get it. But he left it for his guy there. So I scored that one in negative, just giving it as a lazy route. He's playing tall again, and then he didn't even try to attack the ball.
Nick is going to love you, man. Starting off with two negatives.
Yep. I mean, and I always teach my receivers to throw that inside elbow, because when you do that, it helps you turn quicker and your hands are up. Here, it's just he slowly turns too. I mean, the one thing I did notice with them, and I don't know if you guys did or not, but I remember Baylor back in the day when they had, KD Cannon and, Kendall Wright, all that great team.
Josh Gordon.
Gordon, yeah, for 1 year. Only half the receivers would run the routes. Another half would just kind of be like lazy. I kind of saw that a little bit with Wake Forest. Did you guys see that too?
Yeah, you could tell who's getting the ball.
Yeah, it's kind of like by design. Like, hey, you guys don't really have to run hard. We're automatically going to go here. So I don't know if that's what that was or not. I don't know. But.
Yeah. All right, this play here was a negative, turned into a positive because he scored. So let's start with the negative. So if you go back. So, of course, Garrett, you mentioned it all the time, you know, late hands, and also with a wide receiver, you don't have late eyes. But he's running his route, and then about 5 yards in, he's looking back. He's looking back way too early. So for the next 5-6 yards, he's looking back into the end zone.
Yeah.
So he's giving it away. So that's easy for someone to come down and crash on that if the safety's playing over, you know, if there's safety help or even an outside linebacker. But, yeah, just given, you know, he did score, so that's the positive. But if you're running a route and looking at it while you're running, I mean, you know, you kind of got a lot going on right there. So,
and honestly, he's lucky that didn't get picked off like that. That's something that would be on him there.
yeah.
And you're slower when you turn and you're running versus running straight. So,
Yep. All right, let's see here.
Bottom of the screen.
This one, this one here, I mean, he just gets bumped off the route. So I just want him to be more physical. Like he's basically, you know, if the ball was to come to him, gave the QB no room to work with.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I hate that. Man, especially a guy like him, like that should never happen. Like, why are you already on the tightrope?
Yeah.
well, I mean, I get mad whenever a DB would get their hands on my receiver's chest. Like that's a no. You know what I mean? You grab wrists and you pull.
And their DBs don't look big. Louisville DBs look, you know, 5'10", 5'11", but for me, this goes back to how he started. He started off the game not being physical. So, you know, of course, when you start the game, everyone has butterflies and they're anxious, excited, all that good stuff. But you got to start fast, set the tone.
It's a war, man. You got to be battling.
This one here, I think, was a drop. No, okay, yeah, this is the one over the middle. Okay, yeah, so, you know, good hands there. But, of course, he can't create any separation, so he's tackled right there at the spot of the ball, so where he caught it. For me, you know, he's playing like a possession receiver, just a oversized possession guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Nice and flat. I like that at least. I mean, if he came upfield, that DB might have made a play, but here he came pretty flat across.
It's not selling anything. He could have gave a little stem.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say the route, the top here.
It's not crisp.
Yeah,
it's rounded.
It's almost like a speed in, really.
Yeah.
Gosh, I like Vic on here. He uses the same stuff I say. I love it. This is going to be awesome.
And he actually had a big stat line game. Like, you know, he had 12 catches, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns, but it was more, you know, negatives than positives for me on this one.
It is a little bit of a weird anomaly with him because he had a really good season.
He had four games of 150 yards or more. So a lot of his yards in those.
And against some
games.
decent teams, like Virginia Tech usually has solid secondary pieces.
Well, I think there's a big difference, too, between being successful against college teams and what we're wanting to be successful for the NFL and fantasy football. The very big difference. That's why there's guys that run for a lot of yards in college.
Sure.
They're not going to do it in the NFL. There's a big differential.
Yeah, so right here, he drops the ball. I mean, it hits his hands. I like to see him leave the ground, jump, go up and get it, high point it. But
Yeah, he doesn't get up at all.
I probably put a quarter under his foot. So it's not really jumping. Rolling nickels, whatever you want to put under there.
It does look like he's getting wrapped a little bit there. I wonder if that prevented him from getting up some.
Yeah.
That left arm kind of had him by the hip there, but still, if you're a big physical player, that shouldn't make that much of a difference.
And what would have helped there, even if he tried to stack the DB there. So if he tried to stack, you know, that would slow him down. So
it's interesting. We're going to get to St. Brown in a second, but there were tons of really good things for him. But St. Brown didn't like to stack much either. I noticed that with him. So it was something that was kind of a trend with both of these guys.
He's the more crafty. The only thing I'll say on that last play as well is you'd like to see him turn his shoulders and get square back to the football. If you're going to come back on high pointed, I mean, kind of fading and kind of jumping and leaning, like that's a really low risk, or I'm sorry, a low rate of catching that football, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, this is the last play on this one. So, of course, big play, scored a touchdown. I only saw one separation move. So if you notice, you're going to throw a stutter, like he's running a hitch, and then creates a little bit of room, and he can get down the field. So I don't see anything else in his arsenal to create separation.
He's right by the sideline, too.
One trick pony to get open.
He doesn't even step inside on the release. Just goes right outside. Push the sideline. It's a good ball, really.
Yeah.
It is a good ball.
But good play. I mean, he still made the catch, but I mean, I just don't see how that's going to fly on Sundays.
Yep, I'm with you.
Boys, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick. You guys each go through, projections, maybe give a comp if you guys have them, and we'll get into St. Brown when I get back.
Well, one thing I was wondering, and we can do that, I think, with both at the end, since we have a little bit of time. Vic, do you want to tell people a little bit about your background to get to know you a little bit?
Yeah, so so I played wide receiver Division III. So earlier on, I mentioned I had a unique background. So I actually played as a backup wide receiver through high school and even got recruited as a backup wide receiver in terms of that's just where I landed. So basically my entire career was a reserve wide receiver, but playing D3, of course, having that experience definitely was a good time for me. So I actually started playing football my sophomore year in high school as far as wide receiver. And I started out in 8th grade as a DN, but took the freshman year off, so I only count sophomore year going forward. So DePaul and Greencastle, Indiana. So I know you got 2 DePauls, one in Chicago, but one in Indiana.
Okay. What kind of offense did you guys run in college then?
Yeah, we ran a spread.
Okay. All right. Were you guys concept based or were you number based?
We were numbers based. You had to think back. It's been a while.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So like if it's a number, then it's option routes, right? You would adjust based on the coverage then?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's fun, man. That's cool. Did you like the slot or outside more? I can't tell how tall you are.
So I'm actually a little bit under 6'3". So actually I played X and then some slot. So like Y whenever the tight end would come out, right, and a wide receiver for that spot. So.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. So, that's really nice to have you on here to hear that insight. You know what I mean? Because the little nuances that's the difference between being, a guy that like you talk about in a mock draft now, and they actually are going to make it happen. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of small things with a receiver. Yeah,
and again, this Louisville game, he had 12 catches, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns, but a lot of negatives. So you can't just run the stats. You got to grind the tape.
Well, and that's the whole purpose of this show. That's why we do this. Is there's a lot of guys that get hype with their name, and people start drafting them in their Devy leagues or their rookie leagues for Dynasty, and there's certain guys that are like, look. Maybe things will work out, but based on what we're seeing right now, this player does not translate. And sometimes people don't like that. They don't like us being a little harsh and negative at times, but it's good to have somebody like you with that kind of insight. Nick, go ahead. You're about to say something else.
Well, just to that, I mean, because I had coached college and high school. Vic, you played, Pierre played, Jarrett played. Like negative, that's just a part of it. You know what I mean? Coach is always trying to get you better. Like all you hear basically is negative.
Sure.
You have to watch your good plays to even feel good about it. And that's just to get better. I mean, that's all it is.
Oh man, in any locker room, your bad play gets replayed at least 4 times in front of the entire team. Your good play, they're like, "Hey, good play," and they just keep going. Like that's it. That's what you get.
What's we talked about the best trait that we like for receivers. What's a trait that you guys think is like something you don't really care about as much, or it's not as important for a receiver?
I gotta think on that one. Something that's not important.
I mean,
or the least important, maybe.
It's gonna sound silly. But like, I think speed is like a little bit overrated. Like especially the straight line 40 speed. We see a lot of these really, really fast wide receivers make it to the league and typically don't produce. So I think it's one of the things that's.
I like that, Garrett. I think I'll roll with you on that one.
You're with me on that?
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was going to say too, is because it's not your speed; it's how you use your speed.
Look at Keenan Allen, man.
Yep.
Yeah, how you create separation. But I do want to go with an underrated skill. So something that'll get you on the field is blocking. I mean, it's just like basketball. Everyone can shoot and score, but who can play defense? So that's who's going to get on the court, right? So same thing with the wide receiver position. Who can block? So that's your edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who do you think was the best blocking receiver you ever saw in the league?
In the league, man, actually Julio's
Hines
a beast,
Ward?
man.
I was going Hines Ward too, Jared.
Yeah.
Hines
But
Ward's
you're
a
right.
beast.
Julio is really good at that as well.
convert him to linebacker if you want to, man.
And he's so humble. He doesn't say anything. He just gets it done. Like that makes it almost more
even better
scary because you're like, man, what's going on in his head right now? He's just gonna tear your head off.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some Amon-Ra. Saint Brown.
Sam Wallace is asking, Vic, what D3 school did you play at?
DePaul.